know that our university has half of the countries in the world represented? There are 190 countries in the world, and we have students from 92 different countries. And our president of the university, we want to have a student from every country in the world. And I'm going to do it before I retire. So thanks for being here today. And I actually will be giving a mini lecture in a little bit. I'm a teacher, so I will tell you how to succeed in the American classroom. I will share my top 10 secrets. And so I would like to introduce to you Dr. Richard Davenport. He is the president of our university. He's been here for 16 years. And he created my position because he believes in global education. So we have an amazing leader on campus. So please
Welcome, everybody. So you know what this year is? This is our 150th birthday. So the fact that you're all new, you're coming at a really interesting time. It's our birthday. And so there will be a lot of celebration. And I hope that all of you take part. And we have one of our biggest parades in about a month. And I'd love to see you all walking in that parade. But my reason for being here this morning is to welcome you to our university and to help you understand that we really have a great staff, you just saw them, that are here to help you. We don't want you to fail. We want you to be successful. We want you to be happy, and we want you to be comfortable. And we also know some of you probably haven't been away from home much in your life. And some of you have been away a long time, and many times. And so we know it's different for every student. And we're a university that does care about you. And it's true. We do want to have students from every country in the world. And I understand we have about 90 countries represented. So here's what I'm going to ask you. If you don't see your flag around this room, let us know, because we're going to buy that flag for you. We're going to make sure that every student's country has your flag. We don't expect you to buy the flag. We will buy the flag. That's news, by the way. I haven't told on about that yet. But I think it's important that you represent your country and that you help us to better understand the world that you come from. And so with that, I know we have lunch ready, and so I don't want to talk more, but I sincerely welcome every one of you and know that we're here to help you to be successful. So enjoy yourself. Be good.
Okay, hello everybody. How are you doing? Are you excited? Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here. We all are. As you have heard, we're super excited about having as diverse a campus as possible. We feel like you bring so much to our other students and to our staff. And so while you're here, we really want to encourage you to share about your cultures and countries with us. And we want to learn from you as well, and we're here for you too, to help. So if you cannot remember anything else from today because you're tired or you're really excited, just know we're here to help you. Okay? So without further ado, I hear some stomachs growling out there, so we will start releasing you for lunch. So what that means is I'm going to call tables, about 3 or 4 at a time, by the number that's on your table. That's why they're there. And then you'll just go out the door and make your way across the buffet. So everything that we have today for you to eat is vegetarian. So today we're going to share a meal together. Then we'll have presentations about 1 o'clock. So make sure you come back or stay for 1 o'clock. And then we're going to take you to your academic advisors so you can get some understanding of what you'll be studying. Okay? Ready for lunch? Yeah. Woo-hoo! Okay. If you would like to go back and get more food, that's also absolutely okay. We're just going to go ahead and get started with the presentations now and just be aware of your time. So my name is Stephanie Gonzalez. I work with the Kearney Center for International Student Services. And again, we're very, very happy to have you here. And you know what? We have some things in common. So I studied abroad and you're studying abroad. I know. And you want to have a good experience while you're here, and we want you to have a good experience while you're here. And we have a large variety of countries represented in the room, and I'm actually composed of 2 different countries. My father's from Puerto Rico and my mom's from Germany, so I've always been interested in other places, and so that's another reason why I'm happy to see you and look forward to getting to know you. Now that you're here, you are part of the MAVRIK community. Together, I like to think that we come from many different countries, but one MAVRIK nation. Okay? So I hope you'll feel welcome. So we talked before about just wanting you to feel like you're equipped to succeed. And so Dr. Dahlman, who you met just a little while ago, is going to tell you exactly how to succeed. Welcome, Dr. Dahlman.
Okay. So a little bit about my background. So I've been teaching in higher education for 22 years. So I've had thousands of college students in my class. On campus here, I've taught for 12 years. I train teachers. I work with international students. I was an ESL teacher before I became a professor. I have a master's degree in 4 different languages. I teach languages. This is just what I do. And I love teaching. So I'm going to share what I learned as an international student in the classroom. I have lived half of my life in the States and half of my life in Finland. So I have been very successful, but you can be successful too. So I'm going to give you my top 10 strategies. I see a lot of international students in my classroom. Right now I don't teach because I'm in administration, but I have seen the students that do succeed. So first of all, how many of you are here as a transfer student? Coming from another institution, either from abroad or from another another university in the States. How many of you are a freshman, first-time college student anywhere? Wow, that's a lot of transition. How many of you are exchange students here for 1 or 2 semesters? Great. How many of you are here for the intensive English program studying English? Yay! Who am I missing? That's pretty much the groups that we have. Say again? Say again?
I'm not. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So I have top 10 strategies for you. I also wanted to, would you please raise your hand if you are a peer mentor? Yeah, that is so cool. So these are international students who are new like you, but are now stepping up to support students who are new. So you can be a peer mentor too in a little bit. Okay, so how to succeed in college in the US. Like I said, I come from Finland, and it's pretty similar, but the culture is very different. For example, in my language, we don't have the words for please. We are a very straightforward people. So we are sitting at the dinner table and we want milk. We say milk. In America, you had to say, would you please mind passing the milk? And you know, if you don't say that, you sound very rude. You have, if you bump into someone in Finland, it's okay. You don't mean anything here. You are considered very rude if you bump into someone and you don't say, excuse me. You can't just go through a crowd and touch people. You always say, oh, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. So that's what I've learned. It was hard in the beginning because I'm a very energetic person, and I came across like I don't have any manners because we are very straightforward people, but I have learned to be very polite. So just always apologize, you smile, and please, and thank you. That's very important in America. Okay, so number 10. So I have top 10 strategies for you for the classroom. You are here, so make the most out of this opportunity. What this means is you need to decide for yourself what your main purpose of being here is. Some of you, those who will not be successful, will get distracted. So you are on your own. No one is watching out after you. No one is setting boundaries. And you get lost. You have all the freedom in the world, but you have all the responsibility in the world, right? No one will come in the morning and wake you up for class. No one. Absolutely no one. And so you have to decide for yourself right now, set a goal. I remember when I first came to this country, my sole goal was to learn English. I immigrated, so I got my first master's in Finland, then I came to grad school here. I got married. I knew this was for forever. I cried every day for 4 years. I wanted to go home so bad. I would not go back anymore. I am very happy to be here, but I wanted to learn English every day, and I studied really, really hard, and I learned English. That's the only way I can be in the position that I'm in today. So now with technology, you really don't have to speak any English when you are not in class. Commit to making American friends. Commit to going out to student clubs where you can learn English. You're here to learn English. Learn English, okay? So that was number 10. Number 9, never ever skip class. As a professor, I would keep a separate list of people who would skip class. That's your reputation. I would have lots of students in my classroom. I would not know everyone's name in the beginning, but I certainly knew everyone's name who skipped class. You don't want to be on that list. As an international education leader, I don't want you to be on that list because they'll come and talk to me. And I'll be very embarrassed. I'm like, no. Because international students, you are literally the best students on campus. It's so hard to get into this country right now. And you have gotten through so many different steps. I am so proud of you, but don't just not show up for class. Ever. If you have not done your homework, you always show up to class. Okay? Have you ever skipped class in your life? I have not. I have never skipped class, and I never will. I should not have asked that question. Okay, go to class. Never skip class. Never. Okay, and I will have Stephanie send out this PowerPoint to you. Find out where your classes are before you go to your first class. There is online a campus map, so you will write down, okay, first day of class, here where my classes are, so you know where they are. And so Stephanie will give you this PowerPoint. So, how many of you have some kind of calendar or schedule where you write down all your assignments, all your classes, any work hours, anything like that? Good for you. That is, in my experience, the number one predictor of who's going to be successful. You cannot keep it in your head. You can't. You cannot keep it in your head. But you can have your calendar also on your phone. I have so many alarms during the day going off when I need to go to places. Use your devices to stay organized. Okay, so find out where your classes are before the first day of class. That was number 9. So never skip class. Know where to find help. You will not be able to succeed alone. Absolutely not, I tell you right now. Even as good students, we think, oh, I don't need any help. I'll figure this out. You don't. This is a new environment. Even if you have been in the States, on another campus, you don't know. Every campus is different. So you need to know, because there is no time to catch up. So if you fall behind, you have literally a week to catch up. Okay? You can't let one semester go by. Especially as an international student, you don't have any margin for error, right? The added immigration, you have to complete your classes, so many credits. You can't just drop classes that are not going well because you're out of status and you need to leave the country, right? So you need to get your work done. Absolutely get it done. So here are a couple of things I want you to know. Who knows where the campus hub is? Whatever question you have, you go to the campus hub. That is in the Centennial Student Union, first floor, right by the main entrance where they have the cafeteria. Campus hub, you go and say, I'm looking for the library. I have no idea. Where do I get a library card? They will say, oh, let me help you. Hub, you know what a hub is. Hub is a place that intersects a lot of other things. So Campus Hub is a catch-all place where you can find help. Okay? Financial, transcripts, anything that's hub is the place to go. You will have 2 advisors. Advisor is your point person who is responsible for helping you get through your studies. Everyone has an advisor. All international students also have an immigration advisor. You are very lucky. You have 2 people who hover around you all the time. Your academic advisor, how do you know who your academic advisor is? It's on your transcript. Your transcript is your academic record, where you have all your classes, all your grades. It lists your major and it lists your advisor. When you are a pre-major, you are not admitted to your major yet. Usually you have what we call is an SRC, Student Relations Coordinator. Don't get overwhelmed about that yet. Just know that you have an academic advisor. You can go to the Carney Center anytime, or hub. You say at the hub, I want to know who my advisor is, please. Right? And then they will tell you how to find it. But that's your person. And you say, hey, nice to meet you. You're my advisor. This semester, even if you don't have questions, go find your advisor. American professors like when you visit with them. You say, hi, how are you? I'm Anne, I'm new here. I'm excited to be in biology. You're my advisor. And then prepare questions before you go. You show up with 3 questions. I have 3 questions. Would you have 15 minutes? And they will say, ooh, you are prepared. Good for you. So that's how you do it. And then your immigration advisor, you will be assigned from the Carney Center. And so, again, visit with them. Say, am I on track? Am I on track? Is there something I am not thinking about? So that's how you go, and just visit with them. And then tutoring. I've had a lot of international students who go to the tutoring center. It's MLE's Memorial Library, so it's in the basement of the library. They have tutoring for classes like finance. So it's not only English and math, but they have tutors for different kinds of disciplines. Again, another place where you can go. They actually help with your papers. And I, as an international student, I remember in the very beginning, I literally wrote 4 drafts for every paper that an American student wrote 1 draft. Right now, I don't make any mistakes in my writing, and I'm very proud. But there's no shortcut. Absolutely no shortcut. The only difference between you and me right now is 23 years. You are exactly where I was. Exactly. So, but you have to practice. So if you get, let's say, there are 700 professors on campus, 700. Not everyone is going to be a star professor. I've had bad ones. But I'm going to say, I'm not going to let them ruin my career. So sometimes I had to work hard on my own and seek out some resources if the professor was not the best professor. You are bound to have a bad professor, let's face it. Then, let's say they give you a D, and you can always go back and say, is there anything in my language? Can I write another draft? I would even ask that beforehand. Some professors, they will grade you based on your language and based on what you know. Always go and say, can I do a couple extra drafts? Offer it. Say, I really want to get a good grade. I know I'm learning English. Can I write a couple extra drafts? Yeah, you can try to negotiate. But you will have to, let's face it, we have to work harder just because we are learning. I mean, some of you are first language English speakers, lucky, and the rest of us are just learning English as a second language, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. There are still days when I'm so tired. I cannot say anything in any language, actually. But yep, so it just takes a lot of practice. E-services is your hub online. This is what you have online is what you get at the hub face-to-face. So e-services. At all times, you have to know what your GPA is. You need to know all your finances, billing. It's your responsibility. No one will make sure that you have everything that you need in order. You have to do it. Okay? So those are just a couple of things. So know where to find help. Just a practical thing. If others have a hard time understanding you because of your accents, speak slower and project your voice. Project your voice means speak louder. I remember in the very beginning, I was very nervous, like many of you. I noticed that if I speak louder, I was more confident. So it's just a strategy too. I had people laughing at me when I spoke, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. But people are not really, Americans are not mean, they're just ignorant. So often they're not very educated about other cultures. Most of them only know one language, right? So that's when okay, how many of you know at least 2 languages? That's everyone, right? How many of you know at least 3 languages? 4? 5? 6? Holy cow. I mean, is that not amazing? That is the coolest thing ever. And never forget it. Never forget it. Sometimes people have low expectations. I remember people just counting me off just because you have an accent and they don't understand it. Well, you just pursue your goals and leave everyone behind. Okay? Don't listen to people. Who are people to say what you can do? Or they say, you're so lucky to be here. You know, the fact that you are just here. No, first generation immigrants. So whoever comes here first, you can go as far as anyone else and a little bit further. Yes. Okay, so practice, practice, practice your English. You have to have a plan. Time goes really fast. So how do you practice English every day? Give me some ideas. Okay, our peer mentors. How do you practice English every day? Watch movies, did you say? Watch YouTube? Okay, what else?
Talk to other,
Yeah, talk. The only way to learn to talk is to talk, right? And you know, you think you are fluent in writing and reading and listening. Talking is different, right? So yeah, find situations where you have to talk. Okay, what else? I remember reading a lot and highlighting. I loved getting phrases. Oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful phrase. So I would just highlight language in English books or magazines so that I would learn. But every day you have to. Or listen to the news in English every day. Has to happen every day. Then it's a habit. Okay? It'll be tough to, or it'll be a little bit of a challenge for you to easily make American friends. That's just the experience. And I have to say, I have always gravitated toward international people. But it is possible, but it takes a little bit of effort. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, but this is 7. Practice English and help others understand you. Be friendly and polite when communicating with Americans. They don't need us. We need them. As sad as it sounds, right? I really, really wanted to integrate when I came. I wanted to be as competitive as anyone else who was born here. And I had to put up with a lot of stuff. Just because when you're different, and people who don't need you, they don't always need to be nice to you. But you know what? You are just nice and firm and you do your thing. But again, American society is very polite. It really is. Meaning you have to say please, you have to say thank you. You go into the hub and demanding to see your transcript will not get you anywhere. So, as you have learned in your English classes, could I please, would you please, may I please? You have to say it. Otherwise, people will turn off and they will not give you good service. Who hates to talk on the phone in English? You are very comfortable. Good for you. Calling offices, dealing with people, it's really hard. But again, if you are polite, no matter if others are not polite, that's the best way to go. Americans care about other cultures, but often are not very educated about the world. Do you know how many people live in the United States? 330 million. My country, 5 million. So this is the world. I mean, that from an American perspective, many people cannot afford to go abroad in the States. So that's why people just know America, because it is a huge country with lots of people, so they travel within the United States. But it doesn't mean that they are bad people. It's just that they don't know about the world, so we can teach them. Find both international and American friends. One way to do that, actually, I'm going to show this to you. So there are about 130 student organizations on campus. So, and you will, like I said, you will get this. You will get it, and it just takes you to a website. where you can find student organizations based on interest, based on discipline, major, based on all kinds of things. So your task for your week 1 is to identify at least one organization that you will go and join. And just go to at least one meeting. Push yourself. And you will meet other people. Okay? So, but there are tons and tons of, a list of different organizations that you can join. Student organizations. Ask your peer mentors, what RSOs have you joined? I know most of them, did they leave? Give me RSOs. People, what are you part of? African Student Association. Awesome. We have lots of different cultures and ethnicities, student associations for them. There's engineering club. There is all kinds of religious affiliations. Like I said, over 100. So find something that interests you. Know what's on the course syllabus. How many of you do not know what a syllabus is? In my country, we did not have a course syllabus. Here, every course has a course syllabus, which is a guide for that class. Lists the instructor, how to get a hold of them, the schedule, week 1, week 2. Every semester has 15 or 16 weeks. Lists all the assignments, all the points or percentages that each assignment is worth, policy for how to turn in homework. Sometimes they say everything has to be turned in online. Sometimes everything has to be turned in paper. It will also talk about how many classes you can miss. That is the contract for the class. Look at it every time before class, because your professor will expect that you know everything that is on the syllabus. Okay? Now you know what a course syllabus is. Stay organized, and we talked about that. Number 3, go to professor's office hours. Every professor has to hold 10 hours per week so that they are available for students. Okay? How do you know what the office hours are? It's on the course syllabus. Also, if you go to the department office, you can always ask. Okay, when are so-and-so's office hours? Some students go to office hours, some never do. Not even once. As a faculty member, as a professor, I would have students who would come to my office hours who would just come to introduce themselves and say, hey, I'm enjoying your class. I know half of them were not enjoying my class, but they came to tell me that because they were being polite, which is fine. I would remember their names, right? So you go to the officer and say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm in your class. I'm really enjoying it. And then you can ask questions. Again, that's how the social skills are very important in this society. Also, if you're trying to get a hold of your professor and they don't respond to email, one tip is go to the department office, write your note on a post-it note, leave it with the secretary and say, I just have a brief note. Would you please get this to Professor so-and-so? Or you find out their class schedule and you meet them at the end of one of their classes in the classroom. Two ways to get a hold of a professor if they don't send you emails in a timely fashion. Always ask questions. Even if you don't have questions, you have to ask questions. That's how this culture works. You show interest by asking questions. And everyone, even if you know everything, There's still more that you can learn. So that's how you ask questions. I remember in the beginning being very frustrated, coming to class, half of my American peers had not even done the homework, and they just kept talking and asking questions. That's part of the culture. You ask questions. So when you do your reading or whatever your homework is, prepare some questions. So then you can be prepared when your professor will open it up to discussion. If you're in a big lecture hall, some of them can have 200, even 300 students. Always you can go to your professor and ask them, could I get a copy of the PowerPoint? They don't have to do it, but you can request it. Or you can ask if you can audio tape the lecture. So then you can go back home and listen to it. Play the international student card. I've done it so many times. And fake your accent a little bit stronger and say, oh my gosh, I really want to learn, I just can't understand. Would you be okay, please, if I audio taped the lecture? Some of them say, no way. This is my intellectual property, which it is. Some will say, of course. But you just try to gather everything and anything that you need to be able to learn. Always show interest. You are your brand. Do you understand what a brand is? Nike is a brand. Minnesota State University is a brand. Dr. Dahlman is a brand. Yes. I am a brand, like everyone else. You are your own brand. You have to fight really hard for your brand. What do you stand for? That's what you show every day. Professionalism. I'm professionalism, helping out and standing. I always stand up for the underdog. Always. That's my brand. But that's what you claim your brand and then show up. If you believe in showing up, then you show up. Because that's your reputation and your brand. Number 2, take care of yourself. I cannot tell you how many students on campus have difficulties. And I know in some of your cultures, it probably is not as okay to talk openly about difficulties, but it is here. We have, in my 22 years of teaching students, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of anxiety, there is a lot of bipolar, several panic attacks, all kinds of things. Believe me, eating disorders. And you know, the American society is very open about it. Very. And so when I was in college, I was diagnosed with panic attacks and general anxiety, and I'm still on medication for it after 20-some years. And so you can be a high-functioning, messed-up person. And you know, it's okay here. It really is okay here. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be a superstar, because you won't be. Everyone will go through those times. So, again, once you get this slide, there are a couple of things that are here as resources for you, free of charge. Okay? Counseling Center. I think you have 10 sessions for free. Everyone needs a personal coach. Just talk about stuff. Student health services on campus, and always talk to a professor and advisor. Always. I would have so many students come and talk to me, and I would help them get help. Okay? And then number 1, never, ever, ever give up. And it will take some time for you to feel comfortable, being in a new environment. Like I said, 4 years, I was miserable. And I married an American, so I blamed him every day. I'm still happily married to him after 22 years. But it's hard. It is so hard to live in another country. I'm a triplet, so I miss my sisters. I have 2 sisters who are exactly like me. So we on Snapchat, we have over 400 day streaks. You know all about Snapchat. But so it is hard. It is hard. You will miss home. You will miss home. How many of you miss home right now? Yeah, I know. Can I go back? I know. I should not have said it. But I know I still miss it. Every day I miss my home. And it's clear what my home is. I live here. I have kids. But my home is always at my home. And I could cry right now, so I'm going to move on. So, but you need to ask for help. Honestly, you can't do it alone. You cannot. And you are not expected to. Okay? And you've got this. Questions? Yes. See, did I tell you you have to show interest and ask questions? So I will remember you. I'm like, oh my gosh, out of these hundreds of, I would remember you. Thank you for asking a question.
Yeah, so when you were talking about the office hours,
Yes.
and to just go and introduce yourself,
Yes.
in Germany where I come from, you're often giving the feeling that when you don't have any pressing matters that are bothering you, that you're wasting the professor's time. Do you have to worry about this here?
No. Don't waste their time. Don't just go, hey, what's up? I have nothing going on. That's not the approach. Then they say, okay, find something to do. I have no time. But you go with your book in your hand. You go with the Post-it note with 5 points. Say, hi, would you have a minute? I have just 3 quick questions. By the way, I really like your class. And I'm studying really hard. And make sure that you make short and to the point, and you are prepared. But yes, and you can absolutely introduce yourself, but don't make it too long. Yes, good question. Other questions? In 30 seconds, share your plan to how to learn English every day. At your tables, go now. Go. At your tables, how will you learn English every day? Yes, at your tables, share your strategies. How will you learn English every day? Stephanie, I'm good. Okay, this is it for me. Summary, make the most out of this experience, never skip class, know where to find help with your questions, practice English every day, interact with Americans, get involved in student organizations, read the course syllabus, go to office hours and seek help for emotional and mental difficulties, and never give up. That's it. Welcome. I'm very excited you're here. And time goes really fast, so enjoy it. You are so welcome. Thank you. Write down my name. You can always email me. Honestly, I get lots of emails and I always help people out. So, again, a resource. When you get people, names, and you see people that help you, you write down their name right away. And then you email them and say, hey, I saw you there and there. I have a question. So write down my name and then
you just email me and I will help you out.
Thank you, Dr. Dahlman. All right, everybody, so we're going to continue with our presentations. The next topics that you're going to hear about are health services and health insurance. And I'll get the presentation up here in just a second. But yeah, there are a variety of things that we'll cover today, so you know about different university resources, which is so important, as Dr. Dahlman was saying before. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jody Eglin and Kathy Grant from thank you so much, from Student Health Services and Health Insurance. Two really important things while you're here as a student. They'll help keep you healthy, which is a big thing. Just 1 second, please. Can never see the mouse. Where is it? Can you see it? You know what, I could do it without it. Are you sure? Yeah. I don't even see the mouse. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so it's fine, just leave it right there. No problem.
Thank you. So I'm Jody Eglin. I'm the medical director of the Student Health Services on campus. It is a medical clinic. Have you, any of you taken a tour and know where we're at? No? Okay. Well, I hope you will be taking a tour. We're in the basement of Karkoski Commons, which, have you been to the dining services? Dining hall? Had any food? Been to Crawford, McElroy, Presca dorms? Okay, residence halls, I guess they call them now. So we're in the basement in the building that connects those two. You'll see a sign outside, and then when you're in the building, kind of going through, you'll find that sign too, between Crawford, Presca, right in there. So down in the basement, we're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 4:30, Tuesday, Thursday, 9 to 4:30. We have 3 doctors and 3 nurse practitioners, and you are recommended to make an appointment, but we all know that sometimes we wake up in the morning and we're feeling horrible. So if that's the case, you can call in that day, and we do have a provider that sees walk-in patients as we can until we fill up for the day. So as soon as you're feeling that illness coming on, you want to get a call in. And we see you for anything. So we see you for a sore throat, for a cough, for a sprained ankle out playing soccer, and for birth control and medications that you may be on now and need to have transferred here. We have a full service pharmacy right in the clinic, so you can get your medication right there as well. We also have over-the-counter medicines, which means medicines that you don't have to have a prescription for. So if you just need Tylenol or cold medicine, anything like that, we have all of that down there. Iron tablets, multivitamins, things like that. Very inexpensive. We are not here to make money. We don't make any money off our students. We get you the lowest price possible. And the pharmacist can also order in medicines that you may need that we don't have on hand. So it's an excellent service. We also have full service laboratories. So if you have need for labs such as checking a thyroid, if you have hypothyroidism, all of that is available at our clinic. And we're looking forward to working with all of you. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm sure you got in your packets that we are doing tuberculosis screening September 19th and 20th, which is Wednesday, Thursday. So you'll be sure to find us before that, hopefully. And we'll be just having you fill out a form and going through some things. We go through the clinic and just do a quick blood draw to check for any possibility of you having been exposed to tuberculosis at some point in your life. So it's a really easy screening. At that time, we also offer flu vaccine to keep you healthy throughout the upcoming winter here, which is very cold, I'm sorry. You want to get coats. And also any vaccines that you may be missing before you came here if you didn't get those all done. So all of that is part of your care here at MSU.
My
My name is Kathy, and I'm going to talk about the health insurance that you're purchasing this week. The company is United Healthcare Student Resources, and the clinic that she was just describing on campus is the medical clinic here, Health Services, is the primary clinic. That's where you're going to get your best coverage from your insurance. So most illness and injuries are going to be covered 100% at Health Services, including pharmacy. The over-the-counter meds that you don't get a prescription for, those will not be covered by insurance. But if you come in for a sore throat or anxiety or anything, that would be covered by your insurance. The doctors that we have at Health Services, such as Jody, are the same credentialing as the hospital. So you don't need to go to the hospital to get medical care. You can come to Health Services.
It's like working with you guys. That's why we're here instead of the hospital.
Right. Then the clinic, if we're closed on nights and weekends, there is 2 other clinics that have urgent care and express care that you can go to. If you're sick, you want to go there first, not to the hospital. The hospital is only for emergencies. And same with an ambulance. It's only if it's an emergency. If you're bleeding or you can't walk, something like that, then you can call an ambulance. It's very expensive. If you go to one of these other clinics or call an ambulance, you will be responsible for 20% of that bill. So if an ambulance is $2,000, you'd have to pay $400 of that. So, in an office visit at a clinic, the lowest cost I would say would be about $200, and then you'd pay $40 of that after a $50 deductible. At Health Service, the covered illnesses are free. They cover that 100%. So, and we have 5 providers, doctors and nurse practitioners, 6 now, 6 doctors. We also have a telehealth line that would be available to you when we are closed. So on the weekend, if you had questions for a doctor, you could call the phone number on your ID card. And I explained the coverage. The ID card that I'm talking about is a card that shows that you have insurance, and if you need to go to another clinic or a pharmacy, or you're traveling up to Minneapolis and you happen to cut your finger, they will need that ID card. And so the insurance company wants you to create an account online with them, and you will get an email from them within 48 hours of the time that you're enrolled. So we will be enrolling you probably in the next week and a half, and then they will have to get that downloaded and so forth, and then they will email you as to the website and how to create the account, and then you can print off your card, you can download it to your phone, you can request for them to send you a thicker card to carry in your wallet. But when you do that, they will also ask you if you have other insurance. It's important to answer that. If you don't have any other insurance in the United States, you answer no to that or verify you don't have any other insurance, because that can stop them from paying a hospital bill or a clinic bill down the road. So if you just answer it right off the bat, the claims go smoother if you should happen to have a claim. It'll also be, the website will also be on our website, Health Services. We will have the insurance information, my information, Kathy Grant. My phone number and email is on the Health Service website. You also got information in your packet. One as to how to create you don't have to look at it now, but one is to how to create the account, and it has the website on it. And then we also included a brochure about the health services. Our phone numbers are ours. If you happen to make an appointment and then you decide that you feel better, you made it for the next day, and you wake up and you feel a lot better, please call and cancel that appointment. We keep that time so we can have that time open for another student that needs to get in. And if you don't come a couple times in a row without letting us know, we will charge you anyway, and the insurance does not cover that. Okay, so just a few pointers. Health Services, your primary clinic, otherwise you'll be paying 20% if you go somewhere else. TB screening is the 19th and 20th, and that is required. If you don't fulfill that, requirement, you will not be able to register for classes the next semester. Same with immunizations. If you don't get that information into us, that will keep you from registering the next semester. We will have somebody on Friday, when you check out, there to help you fill out the immunization form. Or you can bring it when you come to the TB screening. And then create an account and with the insurance company so you can download your ID card. That won't be available for about 2 weeks to get your ID card. Okay, any questions?
I wanted to know if the insurance covers the eyes and the dental expenses as well.
We do not have any dental coverage unless you're injured and a tooth is affected. The eye coverage, they don't cover eyeglasses or contacts. They will cover a small portion of an eye exam. And you can go to a eye doctor and just get the vision, what your vision is, and it doesn't cover a whole lot of that because you have a $50 deductible that you have to pay first. If you go in and you have a lot of extra tests to check if you have glaucoma and that type of thing, it will cover $100. That's the maximum it will cover for eye exams. Okay, thank you. And then we will see you on the 19th or 20th for TB screening.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm back. So, you know how Dr. Dahlman was talking about that in the United States we're a little free about talking about if we have depression or anxiety or panic attacks where you're just overcome with anxiety. We have a very special office on campus that can give students a support place, some tools to help you deal with anxiety. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lindsay Mern, and she's coming from the Counseling Center and will tell you all about their resources. Welcome.
Thank you. Can I use this?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Hello, I'm Dr. Lindsay Mern. I'm a psychologist in the Counseling Center, so I'm here to talk to you just briefly about some of our services, answer any questions that you have. We are located on this main floor, or on this second floor, I'm sorry, of the CSU, so just down in 285. We're across from the Multicultural Center. We're tucked back kind of in the corner, so if you see the Multicultural Center, keep going. We're that office that's a little bit tucked in the corner, but it's nice for privacy and confidentiality. So we offer a range of services for all enrolled students. We offer everything from individual counseling sessions, so if you wanted to come and talk to somebody one-on-one, we have up to 10 free sessions for the academic calendar, more in the summer if you're enrolled for summer classes. And so that's usually a good time for people to start talking about, the adjustment, maybe the adjustment to, Mankato itself, or, the United States, or college classes, just different things like that. Might be anxiety, test anxiety, academic struggles, but it might be other things, isolation or depression. Maybe you're having some relationship or roommate conflicts. No problem too big or small either, because we also see students who've, unfortunately experienced a loss or a traumatic event or something like that too. So we're a good kind of first step for people to start getting in and talking about some of the problems that are going on. And even if you think, oh, it's no big deal, or I'll get through it on my own, that's fine too, but we're also here to help and support students, because your mental health and well-being is really important, as well as your academic, success as well. So you can come and meet with somebody one-on-one, but we also have a lot of great other options as well. We have a number of different group counseling services available. And I know a lot of people, as soon as somebody says, group therapy, they, get anxious or kind of get stressed out about that and worry about confidentiality and things like that. But group is a really great opportunity for you to connect with other students, be able to relate to other people who can understand what you're going through. You know, there are a lot of people in the same position, they're having the same feelings, having the same struggles, and it's really nice to be able to go, oh, I'm not alone in this, and I can relate to other people who are struggling with the same thing. So we have a number of different groups going on that are just kind of general process groups where you can come in and talk about lots of different things, whether it's depression, anxiety, and things like that, relationships. But we also have a couple of other specific groups for students. So we have, do you have any graduate students in here? Okay, so we have a graduate student support group, so that's going to be great. Nice to kind of meet with other graduate students who are struggling and, you know, just balancing everything and the demands of being a graduate student. We have an anxiety reduction group, and that's a skills group actually that I run to help people learn how to deal with anxiety, whether that's social anxiety, it could be test or academic anxiety, or those panic attacks that were mentioned. So lots of coping skills, lots of support around anxiety. We have a new group starting this fall that's going to be for sexual assault survivors. We have another group for, we call it women and relationships. So just lots of opportunities for people to kind of find that extra support. You can do both, so the individual sessions, the group sessions don't count towards your individual sessions, so those are kind of, let's say, free and unlimited as well. And so if people are looking for that extra support, that's a great option. We also have something called behavioral stress management instruction. I know that's a mouthful, but we call it BSMI. That's really for if you're looking for some skills. Some of the topics that this person covers would be procrastination, stress management, time management, overcoming worry, mindfulness, guided imagery, and deep breathing and things like that. And so that's really skills-based. It's not necessarily, you don't have to share kind of all of your life struggles with this person, but if you're coming in and saying, hey, I really want some skills in this area, we've got somebody who can work with you one-on-one and kind of follow up with you learning those skills. So those are really important. Other things that we have, you know, you'll see us out and about at different functions doing things like this, maybe coming into classrooms and talking about our services or about a specific topic. We also have something called our Discovering Yourself workshop series, and that we cover, you don't have to be a client, but that, you know, we have different topics that are related to mental health and academics, and so it could be mindfulness or body compassion or time management again, or, you know, something like that anybody and everybody can kind of drop in on and learn a little bit about, get some techniques and things like that. You'll see our flyer in the next couple weeks with the different dates and topics, and I hope to see, you know, many of you there, because I think it's just information that we all can use and we all can be reminded of. So those are some of the main services that we offer. The best way to make an appointment is just to stop into our office again in 285. So you'll stop in, you'll talk with our office manager, Kim. She's really friendly. And what we'll do first is we'll ask you to fill out just a little bit of information. We need some contact information from you, of course, but then we also ask you to fill out just a brief assessment to let us know why you're coming in. So it just gives us a little bit of information on who you are, what you're coming in for, and then when you meet with your counselor for the first time, they can follow up and ask more questions to get really into who you are, you know, what's been going on, and you guys can come together and make some goals for yourself, whether that's individual counseling and kind of working one-on-one, maybe the groups, maybe the workshops and different things like that. So that's really good information for us to start off with. So that only takes about 10 or 15 minutes, so just stop into the counseling center, fill that information out, and then we'll get you scheduled as soon as possible. Obviously, earlier in the semester is better, and we can get you in within a few days, if not right away. But as the semester rolls on, you know, make sure that you're, you know, coming in when you need to, because we'll get busy as everybody gets busy and gets stressed out throughout the semester. So please stop in early and come see us, I guess. Did anyone have any questions? I know I didn't cover everything, but I'm curious what people need to know about us. Nobody? Yes, please, thank you. So that's a great question. So we have a brief model in our counseling center. So there's no free and then you pay. We don't accept insurance or we don't take payment or anything like that. So the 10 sessions is really to be able to accommodate as many students as we can throughout the academic calendar. So if somebody did need extra sessions or wanted additional, more longer term counseling, you'd be talking with your counselor about a potential for a community referral. Usually you have the health insurance, right? And so we can work with finding a community provider that would take that insurance and things like that. What we do find is that most students are able to kind of resolve the main issue or the issue that they're coming in with within that 10 sessions, actually usually within like 2 to 5. But for those who are maybe wanting more consistent, or maybe you're going to be here longer term than, longer than a year or something, and you want somebody that you can go back to, we can definitely work together on finding a community provider that would be a good fit for that long-term care. Other questions? Can you think of anything? Well, stop by and see us. We have a whole wall of resources and things like that. So even if you don't want to talk to anybody or you're not ready for that yet, you should have a brochure, I think, in your packet with our information. But we also have a whole wall of just pamphlets and brochures and resources on different topics. Everything from, adjusting to college, to eating disorders, to depression, to anxiety, you name it. So come in and get some information and see where we're at, and give us a try. Thank you.
Okay, our next presenter is Beth Clausen. She's the assistant director, I cannot talk. The accessibility, she's the assistant director of accessibility services. Say that 5 times fast and see how it goes for you. Okay, welcome, Beth. Here she is. Welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mankato, Minnesota, USA. It's nice to have you all here. I am here representing Accessibility Resources. We are located in the lower level of the library, right next to the tunnel or the link that connects the library and the union, but we're on the library side. So that's where we're located. Our role on campus is to support students who have documented disabilities. I know the word disability gets kind of a bad rap. It's got a big stigma that goes with it. But did you know that 19% of the population across the world has a disability? It is the largest diversity group there is. 19% of the general population. So the hard thing to understand is that most disabilities are hidden. You just don't know it by looking at people unless they maybe have a wheelchair or a cane or an interpreter. But the greater percentage of students that we do support through our office, about 96% of them have hidden disabilities. Students with ADHD, students with mental health diagnoses, students with chronic health condition, students with learning disabilities. The Americans with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990, and it kind of drives what we do in providing support to students, but it asks that we provide accommodations and support to students based on how the disability affects them and their learning. A disability is a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits somebody in a major life activity, and learning is considered a major life activity, so that's why we exist. To get started with our office, we do ask for some kind of paperwork from a provider that the student works with. So it might come from a physician, it might come from a counselor. We have received evaluation reports in many other languages from overseas, and so we can support. We have a fax machine in getting that paperwork as well. But we do require some type of documentation. Our guidelines are on our website. And like I said, we can help in getting that if you can at least find our office, all right? We have forms that can be used that the providers can fill out. And then we like to meet individually with the student. Either myself or Julie Snow, the director, would meet individually with the student in a period of 30 to 45 minutes, and we just talk about what are the barriers to learning for you as it relates to your disability, and then we talk about the appropriate supports or accommodations. Some of the more common ones through our office are alternative testing accommodation. So testing in a quiet test site, extended time, scribes, readers. We have note-taking supports for students. We get books in alternate format and have quite a bit of assistive technology for students. And priority registration is another common one. And then just general advocacy for a lot of students that we work with who have, again, mental health or chronic health conditions. And oftentimes, those type of disabilities affect students with attendance. And that gets to be a little bit of a gray area because we do want to uphold standards for classes, but we recognize there may be some disability-related reasons to advocate on students' behalf. And so that comes into the picture for us as well. We support students who have temporary disabilities, students with mono, or students who have concussions, or maybe a broken arm and we're scribing for exams, those type of things. So if you have a temporary condition that's impacting you in that way, we would support you as well. And then we also provide faculty notification if a student's in the hospital and has had a medical emergency. So I'd hope that would never be you, but that's, we are the office for that as well. So I guess the steps would be to provide documentation and meet with our office. If you are a student who thinks you may need accommodation support for a disability, and we'll do what we can to provide the best support for you. Any questions from anybody? No. I should say that sometimes we do get learners from other countries who come to our office and they maybe don't have a disability, but they want to just take more time on their tests. Our testing center is just for students who have disabilities, so it's not for like English language learners, ELL students, or students who maybe just need a little extra time or need makeup a test, but it's just for students who have documented disabilities. So, well, thank you for your time and have a great year. One other thing, I was going to leave some brochures. I'll just kind of leave them on a table in the back in case anybody wants to grab one, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. So now we are going to talk about another topic that is probably really on your mind. It's how to pay your student bill. Sorry, it says Student Health Services. You already heard that. But this is Twyla Tinney, and Twyla's going to tell you all about your MSU bill. Thank you, Twyla.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to MSU Mankato. I'm here to try and answer any questions you might have, financial questions, or just go over some important dates for you. One thing I wanted to mention is that our main form of communication to you is through your MSU email account. And if we're sending you something regarding your finances or due dates or past due dates, it'll come from the Campus Hub. So usually if you see something from the Campus Hub, most likely that's got important information for you. One of the things that we recommend is that you keep your MSU email and your personal email separate. Sometimes students will have MSU emails forwarded to their personal email and it'll end up going into their junk or something like that, and they're not aware, and so then they miss the communication. The first important date that I want to talk about is August 31st, and there's several reasons for that. That's the deadline to make your minimum down payment. The way you do that is you pay 15% of your balance, or $300, whichever is the lesser of the two. Now, why you have to do that is because if you don't, and you're not protected by some other means like a third-party authorization, all of your classes will be automatically dropped. That's also the deadline to make sure that you're all registered in the right classes. You'll want to double check that, because after that, on September 1st, you could be held liable for any courses that you didn't drop within that deadline. Some of you may be getting the Cultural Contribution Scholarship. However, if it's not entered in our system at the time of the deadline, then you're still not protected. A way to check if you're not protected is check your e-services account, and you'll see a red check mark or a red stop sign. That's an indicator to let you know. Plus, we'll be sending reminder emails as well. There are several ways to pay your tuition. You can pay in person, online, or by fax. We do not take payments over the phone or email. You can pay by credit card, check, or cash. All credit cards must be signed on the back if you're going to be paying in person. International credit cards will be accepted online through our MSU e-services. There's another way to pay your bill, and that's through a wire transfer. You can get instructions for the website of peer transfer on our website or from the ISO office. You need to enter in the comments section if you're sending a wire transfer as to what you want the payment to go towards. Otherwise, it'll automatically apply to your tuition and fees. For example, if you wanted it to pay for your insurance first, it won't do that unless you make a comment in the comment section. Once you have money transferred, it will stay in a prepaid account for your school charges. Upon certain circumstances, you can have some of the money dispersed to you, and that request would have to be submitted through the IS office and the business office. This should only be used during the first semester. Once you have gotten situated, you should open up a U.S. bank account for any future wire transfers. The university should not be used as a holder of funds like a bank. Another way to pay your bill is through a third-party authorization. That's where if a company or an agency is going to be paying your bill on your behalf, what we require is that they have submitted the authorization, that's the documentation, stipulating the full term of the charges and how much of the charges they will pay. Now, to be protected by that, we have to have that authorization in our office by or before August 31st. Otherwise, you'll need to still make the down payment, and then once we get the authorization, we can bill them directly and reimburse you for that down payment. The person to take that authorization to is Doug Henley in the Student Financial Services Office. One thing to know about a third-party agency or company authorization, if for any reason they refuse to pay the bill, then the charges revert back to the student to be liable. We do have an online payment plan. I don't know if you're familiar. In your documentation, you might have a bookmark that looks like this that gives you some of the sign-on dates and some general information. When you sign up, it's strictly online, and you set up a bank account or a credit card account for automatic deductions to be taken out the 5th of each month. Depending on when you sign up will determine how many months that is. There's a $24 non-refundable payment plan fee. The cashiers can help with any questions you may have about this. A couple of weeks before the start of the semester through the first 4 days of the semester, students can charge up to $500 for their books at the bookstore. If you get signed up with Nelnet Fax Payment Plan early. That's probably not going to apply to you since you're just coming in, but just know that for future semesters. Another way to pay your bill is to assign proxy rights to someone else. When you go on your e-services account, under bills and payments, there's a way to assign proxy rights, like to a relative, friend, or whatever, and that gives them legal right to go into your account and make a payment on your behalf. It does not give them legal right to review your registration or anything else like that. Another way to pay your bill, or that is the other way to pay your bill, sorry about that. So, the minimum down payment is due August 31st. The full balance of the tuition needs to be paid by October 1st, unless you're signed up with the Nelnet Fax payment plan. The past due date deadline is October 22nd. Now what that means is if you don't pay your balance by then you'll be assessed a $50 late fee and a registration hold will be placed on your account until it's paid in full. Once that hold is placed, it will not be lifted until it's paid in full. Just so you know, we enforce that consistently. You won't be able to get transcripts either. And so you want to be sure and pay your bill by then. If you signed up with Nelnet Fax, then you're protected from that $50 late fee, and that gives you through November 5th to be protected, as long as you pay on time, of course. If your account is still past due by the end of the semester, it will be referred to our collection agency. Once referred to our collection agency, they can tack on 25 to 40% in collection cost. You want to avoid that if at all possible. Some students, international students, will take off for the spring and, spend the summer back home or whatever and not pay their bill or not pay the balance of their bill. And then when they come back in the fall, they find out their account has been referred to collections. So you want to be sure and check your spring balance, pay your bill. If you don't, set up a payment plan with us, internal payment plan at that time, so at least you can be making payments until you return and pay the balance off. Remember, international students have serious consequences. If you are not able to, you will not be able to get registered if your bill isn't paid. If you have a past due balance, the ISO officer cannot complete any documentation, such as a work permit. For these reasons, you should be especially diligent to make sure you are taking care of your account balance. And again, remember, if there's a hold place, you can't go any further until it's paid in full. If you have any questions regarding your student account, the campus hub or the cashier's office is a good place to go. My office is also in Student Financial Services if you ever need to set up a meeting with me. Does anybody have any questions? Well, again, welcome, and if ever you have any questions or need any help, please don't hesitate to contact us. We'll be happy to go through it with you and see what options you have, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Twyla. Thank you. Okay, in just a few minutes, we're going to have a couple of students who have been here for a while, and they are going to give you some really good advice and give you a chance to ask questions. So have you noticed that every single person who has presented today has asked you, do you have any questions, right? This is because in the U.S., professors really want to know what your thoughts are and they want to have you participate in the class. So they're pretty much always going to ask you, do you have any questions? So what we're going to do today is, while we hear from two of our students about advice and you can ask questions, anybody who asks a question might get a little surprise as a result, okay? Before we get on to that presentation, I just wanted to remind you of a couple of things, because right after this, we're going to go ahead and introduce you to your academic advisors. So the peer mentors will be standing at the back of the room at 3 o'clock with signs, and they're going to ask, where do you need to go? Oh, College of Nursing, I'll take you. College of Business, I'm over here. So you will look for them, but just a little heads up, so as we say, to let you know what's going to happen. And then I'll also just go over a few more, okay? So that's going on. And then just really fast, I'll tell you about tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, we're going to have breakfast at 8 o'clock. Then 8:30, announcements, but we're going to do fun stuff too, okay? So I know, because you have to listen to a lot of information, and probably your heads are spinning right now. But we will do something a little fun tomorrow before we kick off with immigration, which is super, super important, and a lot of other things that are important. If you haven't learned it by now, Americans are kind of crazy. Well, we're kind of crazy anyway, but we're really crazy about people being on time. Being on time may be one of the biggest lessons you learn here, just depending on where you're from. So when we say come at 8 o'clock, we mean it, okay? So be sure to be on time. And we'll talk about other things tomorrow, how to adjust to the different culture here, how to get involved on campus. I'm the advisor for the International Student Association, and one of our members, our president, will be coming to talk to you tomorrow also about how to get involved on campus. So just some announcements for tomorrow. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our two students who are going to give you information and let you ask some questions. So welcome, gentlemen. This is Nathan and Adetuji. Hang on just a sec.
Hey guys, I don't want to just stay on the stage. It's kind of boring. How about me? Really? You guys don't want me to talk? Hello.
Another one?
Hello. This one also.
Maybe I wore that one out.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Hey guys. So I don't want to stay up on the stage. If you guys don't mind, like I'll just walking around, answer some questions if you guys have any. I'm Nathan. Let me just introduce myself first. I'm Nathan from South Korea. You guys know South Korea? Right, thank you, okay. I'm majoring in accounting. I'll be a senior this coming semester. I came to the States in 2013, finished my freshman year, and then went back to Korea to the military service. That's a sad story right there, for 2 years. Wasted my 2 years right there. When I was like, I joined when I was like 19. Got out of there when I was like 21, so my 2 years just went by like that. Anyways, got back in 2016, so I'm still here. I'm planning to graduate next May by the grace of God, for sure. Anyways, yeah, that's my background. If you guys have any questions, you can surely ask. You can go ahead. And,
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm Adetunji Adelani. I was born in MAVRIK, but my parents are originally from Nigeria. A little bit about myself is I have a bachelor before coming here. I came in 2016, and I'm majoring in biomedical science. I'm graduating in May 2019. Thank you.
Amazing. So, do you guys have any questions? Please do ask. Otherwise, I'll be talking for like 30 minutes. You don't want me to talk about myself for 30 minutes, right? Let's see. That'll be great. You don't want it. Please, come on. I mean, ask me some. There we go.
What's your favorite thing of MSU?
Woo! So many things. So like my plan was to like transfer to U of M. Okay? That was my first like intention when I came here. And I fell in love with this school because first, people are so nice. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to meet a lot of friends, and they'll be nice to you. And I think that's the best thing about Minnesota. Have you ever heard of Minnesota Nice? Minnesota Nice. One story, when I was in the library, I saw this guy.
I think it's one of the best states, the nicest.
Yeah, like, for sure. Like, I met this girl in the library. She was smiling at me. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, she likes me.
Yeah.
She was smiling at me. She was saying hi and all the good stuff. And figured out that she was just being nice. So, kind of caution for guys, okay? So, yeah, people being nice.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about campus safety. I know we should be aware of our surroundings, but how bad is it really?
I think the campus state, we have our security, like you can call them anytime when you feel like unsafe and everything. And there's since I've been here, I haven't heard anything bad about the campus. So we are pretty much safe.
Yeah, campus itself is really safe. At the same time, like everybody is really like into the protection and all the good stuff. So like, I'm not gonna say it's like completely safe. You can go out at like 4 a.m. drunk and you can just do like, no, you gotta protect yourself for sure. But it's really safe, like pretty much.
How much time should we spend per week to maintain high GPA?
Yeah, that's the best question. Thank you. And I will say it's different per person. It depends on how you know yourself. Because like me, I spend usually like maybe 2 or 3 hours per day per class. It depends like how you feel. If you think like it's good for you to like some people usually like study before class. Some people wait till exam. Me, I don't do that because like I don't have I can say I can get much in a few hours, so I have to study a little bit. And the best thing is like if you don't understand one thing, the professor always have like office hours, so you can usually go to the professor to say, oh, this part I don't understand, and they will be very, very glad to help you and try to understand everything. So it depends on, I can't say it's definitely, but it depends on everyone. Thank you.
Actually, I have another question. If I attend my credit,
yes.
If I don't understand something, can I rewatch the video or?
What do you say, please?
Can I rewatch the video? Do they put online?
Yeah. You will have your grade after each exam. It depends on the professor. It may give you like the next class after the exam, or it depends. When you have your exam, you can still go to them to say, oh, this part I don't understand and everything. You can explain to you, and if you need, if you think you merit like some credit, it can give you.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you don't understand, you need to talk to your professor. It doesn't help if you just sit there and be like, I'll just understand it later. But rather just go and talk to them. Like, they're pretty much open. Like, for me, to be honest, I go to my professor like almost like once a week. Like, almost all of them be like, hello, like, I can't understand this one. And they'll be very nice, just, have you sit there for like an hour or something, just explain you everything that you don't understand. So, if you don't get it, approach your professor and then dig it down until you understand. So.
And if you think like you'll be shy in front of your professor, you can meet your classmate or those stuff. You can say, oh, hi, do you understand what we did today? It's very nice. Okay. Or if the person know, yeah, he can explain to you. If not, you can say, oh, let's go to another person or something. You still have the tutoring center too. If you cannot go directly to the professor, you can still go to the tutoring center. They can explain to you and all the stuff.
Yeah, there are lots of resources that you can utilize, for sure. Right over there.
Also, do you think we should start looking about the culture of volunteer hours?
As soon as you can. Please do not procrastinate it. Like, there are students, you will see students, your friends be like, at the end of the semester, like maybe like 2 weeks before finals, you'll be like, so I have about 15 hours left. What am I supposed to do? Well, I don't know. International Center, can I help you out with that? So you will see them on Engage, which is the new software that we have implemented. You see those posts and emails that you're going to get, and then apply them as soon as possible and start it. Like, why do you think all these peer mentors are here, like the whole week? Because they need volunteer hours, and at the same time they love talking to you guys. That's for sure, right? We enjoy this. So yeah, as soon as you can. Yes, right over there.
Besides school, what do you recommend doing around the city?
Do you want to talk about that? Like, other than studying, like, what you can do in the city, like in Mankato?
Okay, we have like, for me, I know two very good places in Mankato where you can go to have fun. We have like 2 parks. We have also a park in downtown. I don't know if you know. We have some pretty much good places you can go to enjoy yourself and have fun. You have some good restaurants, Mexico restaurant, Asian restaurant. We still have an African store and whatever you want.
Yeah, and at the same time, on campus, there are lots of events, like diversity events, like culture nights. Like, we had Korean night 5 years ago. I don't know why we're not doing it anymore. I don't know. Yeah, right? Anyways, so like there are culture nights, like Hmong night, like African night. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love Nigeria. Oh my gosh, I love you. Anyway, so like culture nights and some events, and if you get involved in like, clubs and all that stuff, like as much as you go out, there's so many things that you can do. So you need to kind of step back and be like, okay, I need to
There's always an event, always an event. So.
And next week is the welcome week, so you have a lot of stuff for freshmen, new students, I should say. Yeah. There we go.
What about the meals?
Meals.
Yeah.
Meals.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the caf? Oh, great. Okay, I cannot say this is perfect, okay? You can't, when you're home, you can't eat like the perfect food every day, right? So it really depends on like what you like. For me, I like pizza, I like burgers, and I like American food, but I can't eat that forever, like for a month. But in dining center, they have like so many options. Like, they have like international, like food court. They serve sometimes Korean barbecue. Oh my gosh, that's great. Korean barbecue, or sometimes Indian food, sometimes some possibly.
There are some sandwich, fries, and all those stuff. So salad and everything. It's not just like one specific food. You can choose whatever you want.
Yeah, and at the same time, when you get sick of it, you can also go out, off campus. There are, like restaurants like Chipotle or Asian One. Asian One is really great, really affordable.
Yeah, I love it.
And Weggies and some other places. So, if that helps.
Yeah.
Why is it like this?
Wait, sorry.
And did you arrange any kind of tournament?
Can you repeat it, please?
Is there any sports society over?
Oh, yeah. We still have like. Yeah, we have a start. We play soccer, we play like football and other stuff. It depends. Like, I think every like.
I was saying, like, do they arrange any kind of tournaments? For cricket, for football, for
No, I don't think so. For me, I don't know.
We do have intramural like sports like basketball or baseball or like volleyball and all that good stuff. You see all those flyers just flying around on campus if that happens. So like we have like soccer. I know that there are like because I'm not really into sports, so I can't really like answer everything. But I know I've heard many people playing soccer like weekly or something like that. So like, and at the same time, if you're talking about the tournaments, they do have it. Yeah. Yes.
The campus recreation